All right, first and foremost, give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakadash, the blindness to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and who was worthy to be counted for double honors. And peace and citation to brothers out there pushing the truth wholeheartedly and sincerely and for love of the gospel. It's your brother Gabari from the Indian camp, coming to you with a sit down. To basically, I was watching this video of Apostle Tahar going into the on this guy in IUIC, basically saying that he's this guy right there with the afro. I don't know if you can see it, but you go to Apostle Tahar's page and watch the video. You see I'm 32 minutes into it. And this guy's basically saying that having more than one wife is adultery, all right? She was speaking, to give you basically some context, that these two women that he's speaking to is we can't really see the second one, but there's another woman next to this woman in the red right here, that they share the same husband, all right? And they was explaining to the guy that, you know, they have the same husband and whatnot, that they know they're Israelites and, you know, so forth and so forth. And he's going into him and breaking it down that they're committing adultery for having one husband, all right? And they use the scripture and Paul saying, let every woman have their own husband, which he broke that scripture completely wrong. All right, let's start off with that. He broke that scripture completely wrong. All right, and now he's trying to prove that the scriptures doesn't support or promote polygamy, so to speak. All right, which is completely off, man. All right, there's countless of scriptures bringing up that men in the ancient world had multiple wives. The ones that come off the top of my head is King Solomon, King David, Gideon, Jacob, our forefather Jacob. You know, all these men had multiple wives. You know, Jacob had two sisters, and he had in which his two sisters slave the women that he because Jacob had got 4 women, you know, pregnant. 2 of them being sisters, being Israelites, and the other 2 being heathens. Now, the heathens are not going to be the wives; they're going to be the concubines. All right, but the two Israelite women he had was Leah and Rachel. All right, Gideon had in the book of Judges, he had multiple women. You know, King Solomon had a plethora of women. You know, so it just shows you that you know, it almost boils down to, man, are we reading the same book? All right, it's at this point, are we even reading the same book, man? All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna just hop into it. Apostle Tahar, he was bringing, you know, some beautiful points out. I just wanted to get maybe 1 or 2 to back up, to basically back up this lesson. This is Exodus chapter 21, and I'm gonna start from 7. It says, and if a man shall sell his daughter to be a maidservant, says she shall not go out as the manservant do. So in this chapter, to give you some backlight, in this chapter is basically talking about apprenticeship. All right. So if an Israelite is to be subject under another Israelite, as far as like an apprenticeship, or to be a Hebrew servant. All right. Now, don't get that mixed with slave. You know, he's not going to be doing nothing with, like how Esau had us in slavery. There's certain laws and stipulations to go if you have another Israelite ruling up over you. All right. So in this, basically, scripture goes into it. If he has children, if he has a woman, he should go, you know, basically goes into it. He should only serve for 7 years, you know, so forth and so forth. But in verse 7, it goes into a woman now. Now it switches over to a woman. Okay, so let me read that over. It says, and if a man shall sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the manservant do. So now it's making it distinguish. All right, but the point, I'm gonna chop straight to the point. Verse 10, it says, if he take him another wife. So if it was wicked, why is this in the law? This is in Exodus. This is part of the law, man. All right, and if he have and it says, if he take him another wife, it didn't say this thing shall not ought to be. It didn't say, oh, this is wickedness. It didn't say, oh, he should not be doing this. It says what? Her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall not diminish. See, man, so it's clear cut into the point to show you that, man, it's lawful, man. All right, they show you that this is lawful. Now, if this wasn't lawful, why is it not speaking against this? Why is the scripture not speaking against this? All right. Why is it saying that, oh, no, this thing shall not ought to be, or this man has done wickedly in Israel, or this man should be put to death, or something like that? Why is it not speaking like that, man? Because it's not against the law. All right. It's not against the law for a man to have as many women as he wants. All right. The only stipulation for that man is that he has to take care of those women. That's the only stipulation. And I mean, and really, to be honest, that's not even stipulation, because that's anything. You know, if you get a dog, you got to make sure you got to take care of that dog. You just want to get the dog and fucking not feed it and not take care of it. You know, if you get a new pair of shoes, or if you get some clothes, or you get some, you know, or if you get whatever you get, you going to take care of it. You know, you're just not going to get something to fucking mistreat it. You know, anything you get, you're not going to get it so you can mistreat it. Yeah, I want to get home so I can mistreat this one thing, you know? So how much more a woman, you know? So yeah, man. So also, oh yeah, this is a good one too. This is Deuteronomy 21:15. It says, if a man have two wives and one be loved and one another hated, then it's, and right. So this is getting into if a man having two wives and he bear children with the hated one and the beloved one, the children's by the hated one, the man shouldn't look ill towards them, you know, because you basically saying, you know, if you have two women and you like one a little bit more than the other, and you don't really fuck with that one, but you love one of them, and she bear you a firstborn, the one that's hated bear you a firstborn before the loved one, you shouldn't look at that firstborn as how can I say? You shouldn't diminish from that firstborn. He still gets, you know, the blessing, and he still gets how can I say, he still gets the blessing of being the firstborn. All right. So basically that's what this is going into, but it still counts as what? A man having two wives. It didn't say nothing weakly against it. Matter of fact, it's promoting it. It's saying, hey, listen, just because you had that son, damn, I'm stumbling on my words, slacking. Let me calm down a little bit. Just because this woman is hated doesn't diminish from her still being your woman. All right. So yeah, that son that you had by her, you didn't say, oh no, fuck that, I don't want that son. He, you know, you can't say he ain't yours, but you can't say, no, fuck him. I ain't gonna give him his portion because he's the son by the hated. No, he gets his portion. Matter of fact, I think in the scripture it says double. All right. So it just shows you that but it proves that a man having two wives is not off. All right. It's not going off for a man to have two wives. All right. Matter of fact, really, to be honest, if you think about it, it's going to be promoted. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, and in that day, right? And what's that day? That day is soon to come. That day when all this hell, you know, is going to basically break loose. All right. And in the kingdom, you know, because the kingdom, we're going to have multiple wives too. So it says what? In that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, right, man? Because so when I say in that day when all hell breaks loose, is because what? Men are going to be a commodity. Men are going to be a very, 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 very slim pickings. A true man, all right? A true man. Let me cut the bullshit. A man of the Lord. He's going to be a very, very slim commodity, man. All right? So 7 women's going to take hold of that woman, and they're going to be completely okay with it. They're not going to fight. They're not going to say, oh, he's my husband. Y'all, he cheating on me. He ain't going to say that. Matter of fact, some brothers even say certain women's going to promote it. Certain women's going to want their friend to get saved. And certain, like, no, baby, you should take her. Take her to be your wife. You know, you're going to have women pushing other women because they don't want to see, you know, it's probably their friend, and they probably feel sorry for it. Like, no, baby, you should, you know, take her to be another wife to you. You know, she'll be good. She'll do this. I'll teach you how to do this. I'll teach you how to do that. You know? So it shows you that women's going to be okay with that, you know? Saying we will eat our own bread, we wear our own apparel, only let us be called by thy name and take away our reproach. Right, man? So it says what? Let us be called by thy name. Why is it when a woman gets married or when a woman commits to a man, she takes his last name? All right. Now they have it in society where you can get the woman's last name or the man's last name, but 99% of the time, the man is given, the woman is given the man's last name. All right. That's why you have a saying called "What's your mother's maiden name?" All right. You don't have what's your father's maiden name, or if you do, like I said, it's very, very rare. It's not a big thing looked upon. But really, to be honest, what your mother's maiden name is basically was your mother's name before she married your father. All right. So that's where it says, but only let us be called by thy name. Right. So that name is showing a possession of ownership. All right. This is my woman such and such. This is my woman such and such. This is a woman, wife number one, wife number two, but they're wife number three, but they're all up under your name. All right. So, man, these scriptures, man, it's like I said, man, it's almost like we're not reading the same book, man. For this guy to go out and say that having two women, 3 women, or 4 is basically committing adultery, which the scripture that he used, which let me go ahead and get that. Which he said, which this is the scripture that he uses, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. It says, now concerning the things thereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Why? Because the sake of fornication, which is what? Unlawful sex. That's the reason why Paul is writing this. It says, nevertheless, to avoid fornication. Right. What is fornication? Unlawful sex. All right. Adultery. So this is what this guy, he looked up the scripture and said, oh, look, adultery, which no, it goes into, basically homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals. So basically adultery goes into if a man having a woman and a man going into that woman. That's adultery. Homosexuality is fornication. Bestiality is fornication. Adultery is fornication. All right. But they all have laws. What is homosexuality? When a man and a man lie together, or when a woman and a woman lies together. What is bestiality? When a man or a woman lies with an animal. What is adultery? When a man sleeps with another man's woman. All right, and that's all what it is, man. All these fall up under all these fall up under fornication. All right, and Paul was saying that it's good for a man not to touch to avoid that, because if you just say, hey, listen, I'm not gonna touch a woman at all, you avoid fornication. You avoid adultery and all that other stuff. All right. It says, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife. It says that's basically it to that. But basically, that's what that guy read. He probably looked at the word and said, oh, see, having a man having multiple women, that goes into adultery. No, that's not, man. No. Adultery, homosexuality, and bestiality have their own laws that you can read in Leviticus about them. All right. It talks about what a man, how a man, incest. Incest is another one. A man sleeping with a near kin, which would that be his father, his sister, his auntie, his grandma, his mother, and then it goes into, hey man, listen, all these scriptures you can read in the book of Leviticus. It breaks it all down, what's lawful and what's not lawful. You going in your woman's daughter or your woman's son's daughter, all that stuff. It breaks it all down, man. And and it clearly says that all those things is not so to be, and it is wickedness. All right. So for this guy to put in multiple women as part of an adultery, man, it just shows you, man, these camps, man, they're rendering themselves worse and worse. All right. They're getting they're getting further and further from sound doctrine. All right. And that's why Apostle Ha said years ago, he said it's going to be evident. He said it's going to be evident. It's not going to be GMS. It's not going to be IUIC. It's not going to be ISUPK or HOD or WFY or Wi-Fi, whatever. It's not going to be none of these groups, man. It's going to be the men of the Lord and the wicked. All right. It's going to be evident who has the truth and who doesn't. All right. As the scriptures say, man, of them who serve Yahweh Shem Yahshua and them that serve him not. It's going to be evident. It's going to be there's the distinguished line, man. You're going to know it in that dude's tongue. You're going to know in that dude's speech. You're like, man, this dude ain't right. So, Lord willing, I hope this video is edifying. Until next time, I want to say all praise and honor to the Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakadash, double understood elders and apostles, great millstone, and peace and salutation to you brothers out there pushing the truth wholeheartedly and sincerely and for love of the gospel. Until next time, Shalom.